Hello everyone, let us learn about active transport. Active transport is very different from passive transport. Why? Remember, active transport is a type of transportation where the substances are transported or substances move from lower concentration to higher concentration. In fact, there are transport proteins which carry the molecules from lower concentration to higher concentration. Unlike passive, in passive it is always from higher to lower, but in active it is always from lower concentration to higher concentration. Second, active transport, because it is working against the concentration gradient. Against means from lower to higher concentration. Active transport always uses energy. So energy is required for the process of active transportation. Energy is required. Now this energy requirement, it occurs in two different ways. Either energy is used directly from ATP, or energy is used indirectly in the form of potential energy. So either the ATP is used as a directly source of energy, whereas other form of energy, a potential energy, is accumulated, and that is also used to transport the substance from lower concentration to higher concentration. Third point, we are also supposed to remember these 3 points for active transport. There are certain action words, direct words, which gives the hint that it is a type of active transport, like pumps. If you have get the word like sodium potassium pump, or calcium pump, or proton pump, or hydrogen pump, it means this is a type of active transport. So the suffix pump indicate it is an active transport. Or we can have another word like ATPase, pumps or ATPase. We have SERCA, for example, SERCA, which is present in the muscle, known as sarcoplasmic endoplasmic reticular calcium ATPase, which is ATPase again. So it's an active transport. We can have another word like exchangers, we can have an exchangers. Or we can have symport, or we can have another word like antipodes, symport, antipodes. Or we can have another word like co-transport, or counter transport. All these words indicate that it is a type of active transport, co-transport or counter transport. So if you get these words in your text, or this you come across these words, pumps, ATPase, symports, antipodes, exchangers, co-transporters, counter transporters, remember all these transporters are active transport. They are all active transport. Let us study in detail about active transport. Active transport is categorized under two types. Number one, known as a primary active transport. It is a primary active transport. Number one is a primary active transport, and number two is secondary active transport. Now what is the major difference here? Always remember, a primary active transport and secondary active transport. In primary active transport, always ATP is used as a source of energy. ATP is used as a source of energy. Always remember, in primary active transport, ATP is always used as a source of energy, whereas in secondary active transport, ATP is not used as a source of energy. So there is ATP is not used, but the other form of energies are used. The potential energy, because of primary, is used in secondary. So in secondary, although there is no ATP, but potential energy is used. Potential energy is used in secondary active transport. So both the transporters use energy. The difference is primary active transport uses ATP, whereas secondary active transport uses potential energy. Okay, let us go with first, that is primary active transport. A primary active transport is Quite very interesting one. Let us study in detail about primary active transport. In primary active transport, you will always have the words like pumps, like sodium potassium pump, or sodium potassium ATPase, or calcium pump, or calcium ATPase. So they will always have a suffix as a pumps or a ATPase, because they use ATP as a source of energy, and to use the energy from ATP you require an enzyme called as ATPase. So these transporters, they use enzyme ATPase, and hence the name ATPase is given to them. So primary transport, you will have the word pumps or ATPase first of all. Second point, they will always transport the substance from lower concentration. All the substance they are transporting, they are transporting it from lower concentration to higher concentration. Lower concentration to higher concentration. They are always transporting substance from lower concentration to higher concentration. Let us study with one of the examples. The one of the best example to study primary transport, and we always have questions on it, is sodium potassium pump. Na plus K plus pump, or Na plus K plus ATPase.